Subsidance is noticed at a private housing estate in To Kwa Wan. Secretary for Welfare and Labor Chris Soon says the number of applications for talent programs has exceeded 510,000. And U.S. President Donald Trump demands resignation of Intel CEO Lip Bhutan. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Visible subsidence has been reported at the private housing estate, the Grand Waterfront in To Kwa Wan, with cracks between the building and the pedestrian level exceeding 1 inch. It is suspected to be related to the construction work of the Central Kowloon route, which is underway. Samantha Lee reports.
Cracks can be seen in many parts of the Grand Waterfront, a private housing estate in To Kwa Wan. Stairs detached from the wall. There is space between two buildings that are supposed to connect. The area is now cordoned off, while workers are trying to fill in the gaps.
As you can see here, the crack is quite wide. At the entrance of the Victoria Harbour restaurant, I can put 3 fingers into the crack between its stair and the ground floor.
Some residents nearby said they noticed the cracks, but said they were not too worried. This young girl who lives upstairs said she saw the plastic glue on the stairs broke up. However, she said she did not feel the building shaking. This man said he did not notice the gaps, although he is around here all the time. The Kowloon City District Council discussed the issue earlier, while some district councillors doubted whether the construction work of the Central Kowloon route was a reason for the subsidence. In its reply, the Highways Department said the monitoring data in the site showed no abnormality in the building, which did not subside out of the standard range. Meanwhile, officers from the Buildings Department also found no significant danger in the structure. Structural engineer Ai Hock Yan said subsidence is quite common in reclamation areas. He said the only thing to worry about is whether the water pipes on the ground will break due to the subsidence. However, he said usually flexible joints are installed to allow displacement between pipes, which can allow up to 200 millimeters of movement. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
10 aging residential buildings in Yau Chi Mang district are taking part in a joint property management pilot scheme. Hong Kong has more than 3,000 3-nil buildings. Such 3-nil blocks have no owners' corporations, no residents' organizations, and no property management companies. Most are concentrated in old districts such as Yau Chi Mang and Sham Shui Po. The government rolled out the joint management scheme in June, which has attracted interest from owners of around 40 buildings so far. 10 buildings in Yau Chi Mang district are among the latest to sign a collective agreement to jointly hire a single property management company through bidding. That could help split costs and secure essential services at more affordable prices. Police arrested 11 foreign domestic helpers on suspicion of procuring an abortion or supplying drugs to induce abortions. Police received a report in June that a foreign domestic helper fainted at a residence in Tin Shui Wai. Paramedics discovered a 28-week-old fetus with no signs of life in a laundry basket beside her bed. Authorities believe that she bought abortion pills from a friend. In early July, police arrested the friend of the foreign domestic helper at the airport. The 32-year-old suspect also works as a domestic helper. A raid at her work address uncovered suspected abortion drug packaging and 10 abortion pills. Police revealed she had been supplying the medication she procured from other countries to other foreign domestic helpers since May last year.
Assess the risk and understand the side effects of any medication. Do not blindly trust information online and take medications without the consultation with registered medical practitioner.
Since late July, the police have arrested 9 other domestic helpers aged 30 to 46 across Hong Kong for allegedly using or supplying abortion drugs. 5 of them have been charged and released on bail.
Police would also like to remind employers to encourage their domestic helpers to seek medical attention if they find any signs of pregnancy. Laws varies among different countries. The police reiterate that supplying or consuming drugs to induce abortion without the consultation with registered medical practitioner in Hong Kong is a criminal offense.
Authorities warn that aborting a fetus over 28 weeks carries a maximum penalty of life imprisonment unless it's proved that it was done in good faith for the purpose only of preserving the life of the mother. Procuring drugs with intent to cause abortion and administering drugs to procure abortion can also result in 3 to 7 years behind bars upon conviction. Secretary for Welfare and Labor Chris Sun said the number of applications for the government's various talent programs has exceeded 510,000, of which 340,000 were approved. Sun posted on social media that the continued introduction of talent will help maintain overall population stability in the city. Following the suggestion by Vice Chairman of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Leung Chun-ying, that most talents do not settle in Hong Kong, Sun said without naming Leung that most arriving talents rented properties first. He added it is also because of this influx of talent that Hong Kong's residential property vacancy rate has remained stable, despite an aging population. Sun said the authorities will continue to assist incoming talent and understand their development and needs. U.S. President Donald Trump has demanded the immediate resignation of chipmaker Intel CEO Lip Bu Tan, who is of Malaysian descent, accusing him of alleged ties with China. Danny Zhou has the story.
Trump said in a social media post that the head of Intel was highly conflicted and thus must resign immediately. There is no other solution to this problem, he wrote. Republican Senator Tom Cotton has questioned Lip Bu Tan's associations to Chinese firms and wrote to Intel's chair this week over concerns about the security and integrity of its operations. Investigations reportedly found Tan had invested at least $200 million into hundreds of advanced manufacturing and chip businesses in China, some of which have links to the People's Liberation Army. The investments were made between 2012 and 2024. In a statement issued earlier this week, Intel defended its chief executive, saying Tan and the company are deeply committed to advancing U.S. national and economic security interests, and that they look forward to continued engagement with the administration. A naturalized U.S. citizen born in Malaysia, 65-year-old Tan previously worked in Intel from 2022 to 2024 and was appointed to the top job in March this year. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
The U.S. has started imposing tariffs on trading partners. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said he expected revenue from the tariffs to reach $50 billion a month. Danny Zhou again.
Washington officials have touted a vast increase in federal revenues from collecting import taxes on dozens of trading partners. And tougher U.S. trade penalties on transshipment are on the way, though they're not expected to immediately follow the latest country-specific tariffs. Speaking on Fox Business Network, U.S. Commerce Chief Howard Lutnick mentioned U.S. President Donald Trump's threat to pile an additional 40% transshipment levy on any product Washington deems to be illegally rerouted through another country to avoid applicable duties. He explained Vietnam will pay the United States 20% import tax for its own products. But if another country, say China, sends articles to Vietnam and has Vietnam sell them to America, that'll come with a levy of 40%. Recently, China and the U.S. have brought down triple-digit levies on each other after several rounds of negotiations. The grace period for a durable tariff agreement is due to expire on August the 12th. Lutnick offered an update on the situation, saying he feels likely that they will come to an agreement and extend the trade truce deadline by another 90 days. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Israel said it plans to take over Gaza City in the north of the Gaza Strip in another escalation of its 22-month war with Hamas. Nasri Karim with more.
Displaced Palestinian Mesa al-Hayla is filled with a sense of resignation when told that Netanyahu wants to occupy Gaza. What is left to occupy, she asks. There is nothing left to occupy. There is no Gaza left. There are no buildings left. There are no youths, women or children left. They can take whatever is left. Israel's Gaza City plan comes amid a global outcry, with some critics saying it has been Netanyahu's goal since the start of the war in October 2023 to take over the entire enclave. The Israeli leader talked about his plan with Fox. The United Nations, which has sparred with Israel throughout the war, has hit out at Netanyahu's goal to occupy Gaza.
We have already made clear the fact that the occupation of the occupied territories cannot and must not continue. It is not it is not accepted under international law. But we've already made clear our concerns that any expansion of the conflict will be catastrophic.
Among those against Netanyahu's plans are the relatives of some 20 or so living hostages still held in Gaza by Hamas. These hostage families have sailed towards near the coast of Gaza and used a loudspeaker to call for the release of hostages and an end to the war. Yehuda Cohen, father of soldier hostage Nimrod, said he fears reoccupation will threaten the lives of his son and other hostages who are still alive.
Netanyahu is playing a double game. On the one hand, he's saying we're doing everything to get our hostages back. On the other hand, is satisfying his extremists in the government. Netanyahu is working only for himself.
Some relatives chained themselves outside Netanyahu's office. Hamas has repeatedly said in negotiations that it would release all hostages and give up governance of Gaza if Israel ended the war and released thousands of Palestinian prisoners. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has said if a conflict erupts in the Taiwan Strait, the Philippines cannot stay out of it. In response, Beijing urged Manila not to play with fire when it comes to China's core interests. During his visit to India on Wednesday, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. was asked if Manila would allow the United States to access its resources and military bases in the event of a conflict between the Chinese mainland and Taiwan. Marcos Jr. said if tensions escalate into a clash between Beijing and Washington over the Taiwan issue, the Philippines cannot stay out of it, citing Taiwan's proximity to the Philippines and the large Filipino population living in Taiwan. He said Manila would be obligated to intervene and at least facilitate the safe return of its citizens. In Beijing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs says the Taiwan issue sits at the heart of China's core interests. Beijing noted the Philippine government has made a commitment to China to adhere to the One China policy, criticizing how Manila now adopts the erroneous and provocative words and deeds. And still ahead, Donald Trump says he would meet Vladimir Putin even if the Russian leader would not meet Volodymyr Zelensky. World Robot Conference opens in Beijing today. And the benefits of learning Chinese for residents of Vanuatu. Welcome back. U.S. President Donald Trump said he would meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin even if the Russian leader will not meet with Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin said he hopes to meet the U.S. president in the United Arab Emirates next week. The Ukrainian leader has defended his country's right to participate in potential peace talks between leaders of the U.S. and Russia. This as Trump's deadline for a ceasefire agreement between Russia and Ukraine expires today. Tracy Furness reports.
Speaking with reporters in the White House Thursday, U.S. President Donald Trump said it was up to Putin to agree to the ceasefire deadline.
Is your deadline still standing for Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire tomorrow, or is that fluid now?
It's going to be up to him. We're going to see what he has to say. It's going to be up to him. Very disappointed, yeah.
Does Putin have to meet with Zelensky in order and before you and Putin have to meet?
No.
So for you to meet with him, he doesn't have to agree to meet with Zelensky. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't. No.
So when do you think that means?
They would like to meet with me, and I'll do whatever I can to stop the killing.
His comments follow Putin's remarks earlier in the day that he hoped to meet with Trump next week in the United Arab Emirates, but the White House was still working through the details of any potential meeting. Meanwhile, Moscow residents reacted positively to the news about the two leaders potentially meeting. This man said dialogue is much better than the cold phase when Biden did not communicate with Putin at all. If Trump is willing to communicate, communication comes from the word common. So if some common values and indicators are found, on this basis we can talk about good things, he said. The Kremlin has previously said that Putin and Zelensky should meet only when an agreement negotiated by their delegations is close. Ukraine fears being sidelined by direct negotiations between Washington and Moscow, and Zelensky said he had phone conversations with several European leaders on Thursday amid a flurry of diplomatic activity. European countries have pledged to back Ukraine for as long as it takes to defeat Russia's invasion. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The Chinese Manufacturers Association of Hong Kong, or CMA, this morning submitted its recommendations on the 2025 policy address to Chief Executive John Lee. Summer Xiao reports.
The CMA's recommendations are under the theme Integrate and Innovate, breaking through with new momentum. The proposal outlines more than 100 recommendations across 7 key strategic areas. These cover strengthening international connectivity, aligning more deeply with national strategies, promoting innovation, technology, and new industrialization, accelerating the development of the northern metropolis, stimulating economic momentum, supporting SMEs, and deepening cooperation within the Greater Bay Area. To help local small businesses deal with the U.S.-China trade war, the association calls for extending the principal moratorium arrangement involving the paying back of loans for another year to stabilize SME cash flow.
I think we help our members to diverse their supply chain and also looking forward to more emerging markets. And also we encourage our members to upgrade their products, like for branding, more green, and more value added for the products to capture the market.
The proposals emphasize the importance of international connectivity and innovation-driven growth. They also hope the government could help support Hong Kong's development through coordinated and forward-looking policies. Summer Xiao, TVB News.
The World Robot Conference opened in Beijing today, running until the 12th. The world's first embodied intelligent robot 4S booth is also featured at the conference, exhibiting a variety of robots. Debbie Tang reports.
One of the most popular products of Unitree is the mechanical dog, which costs nearly 100,000 RMB. It can perform challenging actions with great proficiency, such as the lion dance. The chess-playing robot is cheaper, costing 2,000 to 3,000 yuan. The robot can help improve the chess skills of children who mostly lost in these games. The World Robot Conference is held in Yizhuang, Beijing from August 8th to 12th, and the 4S robot booth showcases over 100 projects from more than 40 companies. Visitors can interact with football and basketball robots, and they can also enjoy the performance of a robotic band. Some robots are able to do work ranging from dispensing medicine to performing surgeries. Some can sort and transport goods, and there is a humanoid receptionist, Xiao You. If visitors get tired, they can enjoy tea, coffee, even barbecues prepared by the robots. Ma Ning, a Beijing official responsible for the robotic industry, said she hopes citizens can accept robots. That's why we showcase all the robots here. She said the booths in the restaurants help to provide scenarios that show people what services the robots can provide. Debbie Tan, TVB News.
China's Ministry of Education has established more than 560 Confucius institutes around the world. In the island nation of Vanuatu, this initiative is taking root. Not only are students learning Chinese, some are also traveling to China each year to study. This song is from the Cantonese opera classic The Flower Princess, about Princess Changping of the Ming Dynasty, performed at the Confucius Institute of the University of the South Pacific in Vanuatu by a group of visiting Hong Kong students. They also performed with traditional Chinese musical instruments. Established in 2015, the Confucius Institute now has its own classrooms and offices within the university complex. Here, students not only learn basic Chinese in their daily lessons, they also develop a deeper understanding of Chinese culture.
你好，我叫 Alice， 我是Vanuatu人。
Alice, a student of South Pacific University, has been studying Chinese for about a year. Now she can both speak and write in Chinese. Her passion led her to represent Vanuatu in the Chinese Bridge Competition, an annual global contest for foreign students on their mastery of the Chinese language. Later this month, Alice will also travel to Zhengzhou, the capital of Henan province, to study Chinese medicine.
I've learned about the food, also the language, and also the culture. It benefits my understanding. I wanted to study medicine, but here in Vanuatu, we do not have the opportunity or universities to continue my studies. We have to go overseas, but I'm so fortunate to have the Chinese government scholarship to help me help my dream to go study and finish my medical studies in China.
Teachers at the Confucius Institute say the curriculum is tailored to each student's level and that enrollment grows steadily every year. A teacher says last year China and Vanuatu signed a number of education-related memorandums of understanding, and they are working to reach students even at elementary education level. The Confucius Institute is not just open to university students. On weekends, it also opens its doors to the public, allowing children and adults alike to learn Chinese and engage with the Chinese culture. And that's the news. Thank you for watching.